Hey guys, so I wanted to say welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a vlog for you. I know I've been like not here. A lot has been going on in my life, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Um, it's a lot to say. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say it yet, but I'm just really thankful for everything that I've learned in the last couple of months. I feel like you don't plan for life lessons to happen, but it happens in its own timing, and you have to accept it and be graceful. Um, I really feel like I just have a completely different life now, and I want to share that more with you, and I do want to share the past more with you as well, and let you know what's going on, because a lot of you still show me a lot of love on Snapchat and Instagram. I get DMs and stuff, even on my Facebook page that I never go on. And I have a lot of exciting things happening, but these exciting things didn't happen on its own. I did plant seeds, or should I say, God helped me plant those seeds, and it's been a tough couple of months. It didn't just happen. I feel like this is what I'm experiencing. This is the silver lining, and my absence was the rainy clouds. I have a lot to be thankful for, but I really want you guys to stay tuned. If you want to hear this, if you want to chat with me, I do know that I talk a lot about my work and everything like that, but I do want you guys to know who I am. A lot of you know my story. I came back from Trinidad 3.5 years ago, and I've been, slowly moving up. Um, well, according to perspective, slowly or quickly moving up in the industry and doing my thing. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that you appreciate my style of makeup, because that's just me, and I give you me all the time. You're not gonna find a cookie cutter of something else here, and I really appreciate that you guys stick with me. And I have so much to offer you guys, and now I am happy that I'm going to be able to give that to you, um, more, and not just more tutorials and more videos, but more of this, more of us talking, more of me knowing you and you knowing me. And I am pretty freaking excited. Don't mind me that I look like this now. I'm a transform for you guys, but I kept trying to record this video, and it just wasn't happening. I tried it before. I'm in Chicago now, and I tried it before, and it just wasn't coming on. I was like, you have to do this video when you get the vibe, when the feeling comes. And I was just testing my lens. I really wasn't even going to plan on doing this, because I literally just got here and didn't take a nap. And I feel like, this was the time. So stay tuned. I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to show you. I'm going to take you around with me. I hope you want to come, because it's going to be fun. And yeah, thank you. Hey guys, I'm back. For those who don't know me, my name is Jaleesa Jaikaran, and I am a makeup artist living in New York City. For those of you who don't know my story, I was born in New York, lived in Trinidad most of my life, and I moved to New York for a couple of years, moved back to Trinidad for the last 10 years, and I've been back in New York for the last 3.5 years. I have been doing my YouTube channel for a couple of years now. When I first started doing it, it was just something fun to do. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, let me try and become this popular, whatever. It was just me just being me, raw. And over time, and just me becoming a professional makeup artist, my perspective and everything changed. The way the way that I handle my channel changed a lot, and I just realized that I really want to know you guys. Well, I want you guys to know me, because a lot of you still really support me,
a lot of people in Trinidad reach out to me, and I try to answer everybody, even if it's a voice note via email. I really just want you guys and myself to have a good relationship, because that's one thing I've been working on. So what has been going on, girl? Where are you? I have been learning a lot of different life lessons over the last couple of months. I would say that I don't regret any of it. I feel as though I have grown so immensely this year that I will not regret it. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do that I haven't done yet, and there's a lot of things that I wanted to do that is actually happening right now. So because I don't like to get into too much astrology, but I'm a Capricorn and I'm a planner. Like, I need to plan everything. Like, I have a planner, I write all my shit down, and I just need to have my stuff lined up in a row, okay? And that doesn't mean that I don't leave room for spontaneity, but I just like to plan. I like to plan. So as as much as a lot of you may know, I worked at Mac at JFK Airport. I moved with Mac from Trinidad to New York. I used to be the product specialist in Trinidad, which was an amazing experience. I got the opportunity to travel with Mac to LA and Las Vegas, like amazing opportunities. And I would say that most of my growth, besides me being a go-getter, most of my growth came from working at Mac. When I first moved to New York, NW was not something that was in, like, I didn't really touch that much, because not to say there's no white people in Trinidad, but the majority of people don't use that color. So I'm a boss at NC and W, like, tell me what it is, we can mix it up. But when it came to that, I didn't really know. So I would attest a lot of my experience to Mac, learning about teamwork. It's difficult. A lot of you work retail, and the kind of, what happens. The drama, learning about people, having to learn about yourself, learning to work with other people, learning to sometimes put yourself behind and allow people to grow or help them to grow. I had an amazing experience being product specialist. I felt like I was really, when I left my store, I really felt like I made a difference in some of my coworkers' lives, and that is, I mean, besides of, I grew and I learned from Mac, like, that is what I put value on, because it's like, at the end of the day, you would remember, you're not going to remember that customer, or you might remember the customers, but the everyday stuff, like, you're not going to remember that, but you're going to remember that one person who said, hey, like, you could do this, hey, like, and obviously I don't need to call any names. I always ask God to put me in a position where I can help others, or I can be an inspiration for other people, and he continuously does that. And I cannot even be like, okay, well, what about me? Because I have been so blessed since I moved to New York, even working full time. Most of the people that are in my circle, or who I know, they don't even know that I work at a counter. They had no idea, so that in itself, not to say that I'm ashamed or anything, it's just the way that I choose to market myself. Like, this is what I'm after, and this is what I'm gonna get. So yeah, like, if you're doing your thing and doing makeup, and you work at a strip club, or you do something, like, I don't need to know that. Like, that's you, boo. If you want to put that out there, you could do that, but you don't have to. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, basically, in this life. And I'll be honest, where I live is very far from where my store is. And after a while, I felt myself becoming a little bit drained, a little bit like, okay, like, I love the company, let's keep it going, let's try to, like, make it work. And like I said, I'm a planner, so I'm like, all right, I want to make this trip, that trip, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, I need to get a leather jacket, I need these boots, I need this, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, overwhelming my own self. And it's overwhelming because, so I'm trying to make it work, and still still have a life basically. So you know, there's one particular person I was really close with at my store, and we would have these conversations. And you know, it's in life, like I don't blame anybody. Like I will never ever like go bash a company I worked for, because I feel like everybody has good days and bad days. You're not gonna have a good day on counter all the time, but you have to keep the larger picture in mind, and that's what I've always done. And which is the hard thing to do, because it's like oh Jesus, cover me in your blood. I'm like going here today, just cover me in your blood. That is what sorry, I just had like a moment. That's what makes you strong. So there's one person I was really close with in particular, and we'd talk about things, talk about life, talk about like, you know, us moving on from the company, like what are we gonna do, you know, and trying to find out life's direction. And it's like, it's okay if you don't have all the answers. If you don't know, like, okay, maybe I don't want to do makeup anymore, maybe I just want to choose another path in the industry. Like there's so many ways you can do, and it doesn't matter how old you are, like you can do whatever you want to do. So I started to plan. I started to plan. So I started to plan, and I'm not, you know, obviously I'm not saying that's nothing wrong, but you'll understand if you keep listening, you'll understand what I mean about being a planner. So I started to plan. I started to save my money like crazy. I actually opened a separate account, started to save, started to organize myself, because I'm like, you know what, there was a lot of fear built up. And you know, I have a really close friend, her name is Millie, and she would be like, I don't even understand what you're scared about, because you took the leap of faith to move to New York from Trinidad. I didn't even have the job when I started packing my bags. Like I didn't even that if you guys want to hear that, that's a whole nother story. I actually would do that, because I want to tell you guys more about that book and about life and stuff. Whatever, we'll talk about that. So if you could do that, you can move across country, then why can't you believe in yourself and be a freelance makeup artist? Or why can't you believe in yourself and think that you could have your makeup and advertising campaigns and behind the scenes of big runway shows and all these different things? Like what makes you think that that can happen? And in my mind and in my makeup of who I am, I grew up with not having like, oh dad, can you send me two grand, mom, can you send me 2 grand? I always, ever since I left school, I started to work. And it's like, okay, what's special about that? A lot of people do that, right? So a lot of people do that, so you have to do what's best for you to make sure that you're okay, you know? So I had a lot of fear, because you know, I would see my like, you know, my colleagues and people that I know, you know, like, oh, this money isn't good, like it's not happening. And not to say that I believe that my journey will be different or my journey will just be perfect. And you know, I understand that this process is not going to be easy, but I just had to take a chance on myself. So there are many times, like I will take the train that I would take to get to my house, sometimes 2 hours minimum, maybe an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes on a day if I don't work very late. But then I got a really late schedule, and this is when it was on June 7th, right? June 7th, I was told about the new really late schedule. So I had to make up in my mind. I was like in tears, called my friend who left in December, and I was like, I cannot do this. And I was like, oh my God, like I was so overwhelmed. I would come home tired, my sciatic nerve, my back, like everything is aching me. And I'm like, yo, I'm young. I'm not, like, what's happening? All of this should not be happening. So I know it's a combination of stress, of fatigue, of all these different things. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I continuously putting myself in this situation? And my friend Angela said, you know, it's almost like an abusive relationship. It's like you kind of getting good things, but the majority of time you're not really happy, but you continue to stay. You're just gonna stay. And that's the scary part. So I decided on that day that I was actually going to leave earlier than I planned on, but then I had stuff to pay for, so I created this master list. And let me see let me show you. So I created this master list of things that I needed to get done. before I left my job. And that's what it looks like. And over the past couple of months, I just kept ticking things off, and I just made it happen, because I'm like, who am I to believe in God and to believe that I am, like, how can I say this? Who am I to believe that I can't do this? Who am I when God put me in this situation and He told me that you are capable of doing all things through you? Like, I can do anything. So what makes me think that I can't leave this job? And Miss Yanni, I don't know if you guys subscribe to her. She's we met a couple times before, really amazing girl. And I watch her video, and she's making way more money than me, and I'm like, so why can't you leave this job exactly? I mean, you got benefits, you got all these different things, and it's not even about just like, oh, I hate my job. It's like, it's maybe 2 weeks after I decided that I wanted to go, and I was just going in the bathroom crying, like overwhelmed, just crying, like left my house early, still end up being late, and I hate being late. Like, if we go into the movies, you and I, I might be late, but if I'm on a job, if I'm going to work, I'm not late. Like, early is on time, and on time is late. Tyra Banks said it, okay? So, my philosophy in life. So, it really had me overwhelmed, really depressed, like not able to come home. And, after I take 2.5 hours to get to work and I would leave my house 11:45, 12 o'clock to get to work for 2. And then when I leave at 10, I'm getting the train like at 11. So sometimes I'm getting home like 12:30 or 12. And, at that point, I'm drained, and it's not excuses. It's just that I'm in my mind frame. Like, I wasn't even there to be like, okay, guys, this is my foundation. I'm just like, I just want to take this off. I just want to take a shower. I just want to either talk on the phone, relax, do what I gotta do, and go to bed. So, naturally, I just kind of like fell off, and was just like focused on like really like, let's get this list done. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like crazy. Let's get this list done. Because at this point, I'm still freelancing. I'm freelancing during the week, and then I'm working on a business that my business partner and friend slash friend started since last year. So I've been working on that. I had this business competition in July. I'm sure a lot of you who are on my Snap saw it, and we won, which is amazing. We won $20,000, so that's crazy, right? And we're about to win some more. So I had so much going on, and it's like mentally, you want all these things to happen for you, but I'm a firm believer in, like, I don't want everything to happen for me at the same time. Like, I still want to I still want to go through the process. I don't want to feel like, oh well, you just woke up and bam, and fast forward now, the end of August. I plan to leave my job in September, and it's so funny how God works, right? So I'm like, all right, so I am going to give in my 2 weeks. Spoke to who I needed to speak to, because the thing is, it's so hard because it's like I work for a franchise, so it's like trying to separate Mac from the franchise, but it's like, okay, well, I still love my Mac family. I learn a lot from them. I'm so grateful, but you don't mind separating from the other side. So it's like, but it's a marriage, so how do you so you gotta be respectful at all times. So I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna leave in September. So God was like, yeah, okay. So I end up working for the MTV Movie Awards. Amazing. For Beyonce's performance, I did, if you guys want to see it, I did all the makeup for the girls who, when she sang Sorry, and they had like glitter all over their faces. So I did the makeup for that, right? So that week, I was kind of like in limbo because we had a rehearsal on the Thursday, so I'm off Wednesday, Thursday. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday. We had a rehearsal on Thursday, then we had a rehearsal on Saturday, and then the show was on Sunday. I was planning to give my 2 weeks in on that Friday, right? So let me see if I can find it. I was planning to give my 2 weeks on that Friday, and yeah, right, boom, 2 week notice. I don't know if you can see it, but 2 week notice right here, big day. Ended up not being able to do that because I'm like, all right, how is it gonna look, Jay? Not professional if you give in your 2 weeks and then you don't come to work for the next 2 days. So I ended up calling off the next 2 days because that was an opportunity I'm not gonna miss. I literally was like, at this point, I can't even say no. Like, that's amazing opportunity, amazing. So I didn't come to work. Then I was like, all right, other people had asked me in between the week before, like, hey, you are around, like, what's going on? Okay, I'll let you know. Somebody had asked me about Monday, but I was like, okay, no, I can't. I have to go to work. So I went to work, and that Monday at 2:13 a.m., I sent in my 2 weeks. Sent in my 2 weeks, got to work on Monday, just feeling a little bit antsy because then I was asked to help out on a job. So, all right, they asked me, hey, are you available Tuesday, Wednesday? So, I'm off Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm like, oh, Jesus, Lord, big Father, just guide me, just tell me what to do. Like, I'm putting this all in your hands. I don't want to be disrespectful to the company, but also like major. So I'm like, all right, so and even though if it wasn't that major, it was like God saying that, Jay, I am going to provide for you. You're going to be okay. Can you just let go of the rope so your hands are not scarred anymore and let me handle it? So the Tuesday, Wednesday job, I was like, all right, cool. So then, boom, another makeup artist that I know that I've never worked with, and I'm kind of like trying to get into that side of stuff. She messaged me and she was like, hey, you're available Thursday, Friday? I'm like, so I'm freaking out at work. I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, I can't just leave today. What am I supposed to do? I was like, I can't just call out Tuesday, then call out Friday, then Saturday. I had a PTO day because I had a bridal client coming out from a girl from out of town coming out to go out a wedding, and I'm just like. And then basically the next couple of days that I would have to work was the Sunday, the Monday, Tuesday, the 6th, off Wednesday, Thursday, had a floater day Friday, which would have been my last day. And I'm just there and I'm just like, you just have to leave. Like, you have to go. And they were like, so when is your last day? And I was just like, today. And that was not part of my plan, but that's how it happened. And that's also, a lesson for me this year with planning. And, sometimes you can have everything planned out, written down, but God will always have a plan. So you have to trust and believe in that plan, and you have to trust and believe that it doesn't matter what Nancy and Eric and all these other people, whoever are doing whatever beside you, regardless if you have similar goals, your path is your path. Even if you were to try and walk in my path, you can't because you're not me. So it is something hard to be. Sometimes it's hard because as artists, you're watching all these other people like, oh my God, look at this amazing thing, I wish I had that opportunity. But I've learned to be like, what's for me will be for me in life, in career, in relationships. Like, what's for me will really be for me, and I don't even need to fight. You want to be here? All right, let's rock. You don't want to be here? All right, cool. And it's hard too because I'm like trying to balance having a life, careers, like, because I'm freelancing, I'm going to work for these long hours and coming home and trying to work on this business, and also like do my freelance stuff. I started to do, oh, my battery's low. And then I'm doing stuff with the business, and trying to like just do the most pretty much. And then I had an old friend, and this is my last part of my story, is that I have lost, I won't say a whole lot of relationships, but I've lost relationships like anybody have in the past. And I've learned my lessons with people, with family, and it's been difficult, but it also has been almost a blessing. I had one of my friends give me a wake up call like, Jay, you cannot plan everything. And even as I invite certain things into my life that contributes to my balance and contributes to me not like, as much as like you're going after these goals, it's amazing to have a support group around you and people who really care about you. And I could attest to that, like just keeping me sane. Like I don't want to talk about makeup all the time. I don't want to talk about what's happening. I don't want to talk about the social media feud. I don't want to. Sometimes you just want to have people who are around you and you can connect with on a different level, whether romantic, whether just as friends. And that's why I used to really beat myself up. Like sometimes when I just don't connect with people, I feel like people don't like me, and I've learned just moving from New York, I'm just like, as I said before, like whoever you will rock with you will rock with you. And sometimes, which is something I hold true to my heart, people will always sometimes treat you based on your perceived value, because it's like they go on your Instagram, oh, she only got 1,000 followers. She ain't nobody. You see somebody else with 10K. Oh my God, who's this person? Let's be friends. Let's go out. And that's just how the world is. People treat you based on your perceived value, but you have to know what you're worth. And I'm telling you that you're worth a lot. And I am excited, not only just for what's happening with me, I'm excited for you because maybe this message had to hit somebody today. Maybe they wasn't even gonna click on my video, but they decided to watch. And yeah, everything is always gonna work out the way it's supposed to. So I'm thankful for you guys following me on my freelance journey. Um, I'm not saying my time over. My time is completely over with Mac. I feel like it's a company that wherever I go, they might just be there. I'll be freelancing backstage, Mac sponsoring. So, I would love to, work with the company in another capacity, whether freelance, whatever it is. But, like I said, I'm letting, at least for the rest of the year, I'm letting let it flow. I'm going to Paris. I'm going to take you guys with me to Paris. It'll be my first Paris Fashion Week, which is major. One of my goals that I had written down. And I strongly believe in writing things down. And I'm just really excited. I didn't plan on talking to you guys today, but it happened. All I wanted to do when I came off the plane was sleep. But this is how it had to happen. Like me, like this. Little bummy, but it's all good. Yeah, so I'm just like, okay, I love you guys and I am thankful for you. And I'm so happy that you've subscribed. I'm so happy for your comments. As usual, follow me on Snapchat and on Instagram. All my social media handles are the same. It's Jaleesa Jaikaran. Anything you need clarification for, down bar, I will respond to you. Yeah. So as much as I told you a lot, there was, I feel like you can kind of pick sense out of nonsense, which is something we say in Trinidad. I don't know if you know what that means, but pretty much you kind of get the drift of what was going on. Many nights crying, I don't need to divulge into the negativity, but that was the reality of my situation. And now I am in a different space. And I feel super blessed because sometimes I might hit one of my friends up and be like, hey, you okay? And they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy you reached out to me. So just message for you, regardless if you've been hurt in the past by people, just don't let that allow you to change who you are. If you're a giving person, if you're a loving person, continue to be who you are. And most of all, believe that your higher power, my higher power is God, yours could be Allah, yours could be, whatever it is, but believe that you are worthy of having more than you can imagine, having being able to do what you want to do, and being able to build your dreams instead of helping somebody else build theirs. And it's all part of the process. Nothing is wrong with that. Like I said, everything happens the way it's supposed to, and believe in your journey and your timing, which is the most important. A lot of times people want things to happen too quickly. And it's easy to see that because everybody's blowing up on social media, and you're like, well, why not me? You know, like, okay, like, who's this person? You know, but those things in the grand scheme of things, it it's worth something, but it's not worth everything. So continue to be happy, continue to follow me. And I really like this. It is really long. I feel like I've been talking for 2 hours. So I'm going to stop now. And I am going to let you guys go. And I'll talk to you really soon, okay? Later. Bye bye.